Strange friends. A gnarled dwarf juniper, evening primrose flush fuchsia, wayfish stalks of grass, a motley crew adrift on the same island of soil. Strange friends brought together by circumstance, like crotchety old men who crowd together to play pool. My longer piece is titled Fragile as Bone. In her book Eating Stone, writer Ellen Malloy chronicles a band of bighorn sheep. She writes that they are, quote, faithful to place to the point of disaster, end quote. A herd's uncompromising loyalty to a single mountaintop might simply be encoded in each animal's genes, instinct inextricable from their bones, but no matter the reason, their fierce attachment to a single place is striking. To commit yourself completely to something, fragile and transient, whether it be a place, a belief, or a vision, comes with great risk. A herd of bighorns entrusts the survival of its species to a precarious flank of arid desert. Their numbers have dwindled dramatically in recent years, partly because their homeland has been struck by the barbs of urbanization, military experiments, and fencing, and partly because of their own refusal to seek new rocky outcroppings and adapt to the change. The image of bighorn sheep, staked out on mountaintops like flags, unmoving and loyal, was one that came back to me again and again as we traveled through the West. I wondered, is such resolute determination to stick to what you love and believe in something far more valuable than I'd previously imagined? Or is it merely a dead-ended unwillingness to change? In Oregon's Wallowa County, we met with cattle ranchers and impassioned environmentalists to discuss how the gray wolves that have recently returned to the area can coexist with ranching. Wolves returning in greater numbers would take a big toll on cattle, likely ending ranching as a viable livelihood in the area. But a truly healthy Wallowa ecosystem requires a substantial population of wolves to reclaim and fulfill their ecological role as a top predator. Is that a vision that can be compromised? Suzanne Foudy, a Forest Service hydrologist in Oregon and one of the staunch environmentalists present at the meeting, shared from her personal experience that, quote, when you can see what a fully functioning landscape would look like, it's hard to strive for anything less, end quote. But this resolve for perfection makes it difficult to write a wolf management plan that all parties can agree on. Mike Prather, an activist fighting a similar battle for migratory shorebirds in Owens Valley, California, had a different idea of what to strive for as an environmentalist. He warned us, don't let perfect be the enemy of good. He's pleased with the recent agreement California Audubon made with the city of Los Angeles to create a permanent preserve for riparian wildlife. Owens Lake offers refuge to countless species of shorebirds, migrating incredible distances, like the Baird sandpiper, which stops there on its journey from Patagonia to Alaska. Although the conservation deal includes only a small portion of their native habitat, Mike believes that this is a major environmental victory. Through compromise, he thinks we can attain ecological achievements that would be impossible otherwise. Is the desire, as Mike suggests, to see the preservation and restoration of ecosystems through to their full realization little more than a stubborn refusal to accept the adaptive nature of the planet and humanity's role in it? Or is a failure to do so, as Suzanne implies, an unforgivable negligence that ultimately leads to an ecologically impoverished planet? For both, striving to protect the biological diversity and ecological resilience of ecosystems is of paramount importance. Ellen Malloy, too, considers the implications of losing biodiversity and just how far those repercussions might resound. She writes that the survival of bighorn sheep, quote, means more than a wild animal among us. Their survival, I am convinced, guarantees the tangible truth of our imaginations, end quote. She suggests that if we let animals fall to extinction, whether it be bighorns, sandpipers, or wolves, we not only lose valuable biological diversity, but we also lose humanity's ability to imagine that something like a bighorn or a wolf could exist. With the disappearance of a species, our ability to see the world in different ways, our capacity for imagination diminishes, and our tunnel vision becomes narrower still. I contemplated this in the Wallowas as I handled a wolf skull that a local biologist had found. There was something almost too simple about it, as if someone had prepared an elaborate card trick and then merely unfurled their palm to reveal a penny. Something too naked, maybe, in the aged yellow of bone resting between my fingers. I was startled by its alarmingly tangible fragility. I find myself struggling to reconcile the vulnerability of ecosystems, of the bighorns clinging to ever more greatly broken terrain and the tenuous presence of the wolves in western forests, with the compromises that our society demands. Through fierce attachment, our ecological aspirations risk becoming as vulnerable and as isolated as the bighorn. If we attach ourselves too stubbornly to a singular ecological vision and refuse to settle for anything less, what will we accomplish? Rather, I hope to strive for the delicate medium between a willingness to compromise and adapt and an unwavering resolve to retain the ecological resilience upon which we all depend.